Or happening? What's happening, monkey? You ready, dude? Are you ready? Okay, let's do this. Hey, everybody, welcome. It's Friday. It's not after dark. It's daytime. Houston, we have a problem. So, what's happening in the world? Well, sounds like Deutsche Bank is going down. And they're probably one of the most evil banks on earth. I mean, most banks are evil banks, but like in a ranking of evil banks, they are really far up there. Been laundering money for the Russian mob for a long time. They keep getting busted for that. And I guess if you get your Russian money cut off, you no longer have the ability to take on new cash to subsidize everything else. And then you are now subject to all the other conveyances and inconveniences of the current market, where fixed rate bonds are worthless, stocks are plummeting, depositors are panicking, and there you have it. GameStop finished at 23.90 something, 97, something like that. Didn't quite hit the 24, which is a bummer. Would have triggered some options, but you know, it's still finished $6-7 above where it started the week, and that is good for just a pinch of gamma squeeze next week. So let's get it. Right. Bam. Oh no, bam. And boop. There we go. Off. All right. Do they have anything else to add, monkey? I don't know if I had anything else to add on there. If anything, you guys will remind me. That's what the chat's for. You guys tell me what's going on at all times, and that's how we roll. SJ, good day. Good day, SJ. B-Ball 3710. Are small town Midwest banks in any trouble? Example, 4 to 5 locations that are agricultural focused. Not a clue. I think you'd have to look at each bank individually to see what kind of trouble it might be in. Granted, I don't know what type of account sizes farmers keep. My guess is, when they make huge sales of crops, when they get subsidies, things like that that they might have at any moment either a lot of money in there or not very much at all, depending on what season it is. So, if you're looking at FDIC related things, I would check to see, do these farmers have like $500,000 in there because they just sold a whole bunch of wheat or something. No, it's not that time of year. Now it's time of year where they're paying a lot for seeds and planting and whatnot. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what their liabilities are at the moment. Dog Mom, love your show, Houston. You help me relax. Well, all right, Dog Mom. Thank you. To the sultry, smooth jazz voice. Bill Coyne, Houston, can you speak about how fear is spreading across the world on banks? Wall Street Journal ran an article on today. Yeah, I mean, that's the basis of every economic collapse is fear. That's it. Like, for the last year and a half, we've been doing shows talking about, like, this is going to happen. This contagion is going to spread. These bonds are worthless. This crypto is worthless. These stocks are overvalued. Home shouldn't be worth this much. Commercial real estate is going to collapse. China can't pay its bonds. Yada, 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 yada. But what it comes down to is the people outside of our little bubble of knowledge, those folks who generally aren't concerned with this stuff on a daily basis, the minute they become aware of it, that's when the fear spreads, and that's when everything drops. So we've been waiting for the public to finally have the consciousness of what a terrible system we've created. And now that has spread into the average person's brain, then now the inevitable. We are an entire economy built upon belief. It is clapping for Tinkerbell to live. you ever saw Peter Pan. And that's what it comes down to. Money's fake. Borders are imaginary. Identities are in our brains. It's all down to belief. So if all of a sudden you don't believe or collectively don't believe in a particular system, that system will fail inevitably. That's just how it works. So right now, the belief in the system is disappearing and it's undercutting the foundation for the system itself. And it will collapse until we can rebuild belief again. And that's what we do. We just undermine belief, and then we have to build it back up again, and then we undermine it some more, and then we have to build it back up again. And that is basically the cycle of the economy forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Houston, are you allowed to comment on Acme Parent Company's recent financial statements? No. Also, any word from Rosa, and have you lined her up for another show yet? We chatted the other day. She's crazy busy at the moment, so there's I can't detract from what she's got to get done for work. But when she wants to come on, doors are open. I think she may have passed her bar. She put Texas on her profile, but there's an hourglass next to us, so maybe she's just waiting for approval in Texas. But anyway, I'll send her congratulations if that is the case. If she monkey butt's not even lined up. Oh my goodness, there we go. If in fact she did pass her bar. Guitar stuff. Historically, markets pump up on Friday before a Monday or Tuesday crash. Get out while you can. Like, you're going to want to try and pump this entire market up as high as you can to just get rid of everything. And either hold cash or turn it into something like gold, silver, oil stocks. Even though oil stocks usually crash really hard when the economy crashes because oil just bottom falls out of it. But yeah, oil stocks actually were pumping today. It was weird. It's common. DRV's going up. That's the inverse housing mortgage-backed security ETF. That's going up. UVXY, is UVXY doing anything yet? Go to my list. Where's my list? Scroll. UVXY plummeted again, and the SPY went up. DRV went down too. Crypto's dropping like a rock again. Dude, the cycle that crypto has been doing, it's down 4% today. It is just hit 26, go to 28, hit 26, go to 28, it's just a sinusoidal curve at this point. So, I guess if you day trade, it's wonderful for you until, it hits 26 and keeps going. And you go, no, I just bought at 26. Guitar stuff, Houston. You feel like a man who would find themselves in Antarctica. Have you ever been? If not, did you ever have the chance but didn't go? I have not had the chance to go. I have never been. I have lots of friends who have gone. My buddy Dave is trying to get there right now before the end of the season. I don't know if he'll get there, but he's trying to find a boat for the last part of the season. My friend Allison is a PhD at Scripps in San Diego, and she is in Antarctica all the time. Like every winter, our winter, she's in Antarctica doing something with like creatures and oceans and stuff. My friend Eric, who is now a professor at Stanford, he did a season in Antarctica, and he had some pretty funny stories. It was with NOAA, National Oceanographic Atmospheric Administration, and you get these like jumpers, these onesies that are super Arctic, minus 200 degree, fluffy things, and they don't have a poop flap. So if you got to go, you got to unzip the entire thing and squat in the snow somewhere. And he said a guy in his group, not once, but twice, went off by himself to go do his business, zipped up his suit, put his hood on, and I managed to take a dump in his hood. Nerds. But no, I've not been yet. I would love to go. I'd love to go mineral hunting or meteorite hunting in Antarctica. I think that'd be awesome. Monkey butt, it's a little too cold for you. You don't quite have the body fat or the fur to handle Antarctica, so I'm sorry you'd have to stay here. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Where it's warm. You subtropical dog, you. She's giving me heavy side eye at the moment. Why is my camera always moving around? Okay. Right? You don't want to go to Antarctica. You barely want to go on a car ride. Andrew Taintertot. Do you think autocorrect changed Deutsche Bank to douche, or do you think Houston did it on purpose? I did it on purpose. They're Douche Bank. That's why. Marius at 151 subs. Throw another channel out. Shout out. Oh, yes. Let's do that. Let's do another shout out for Marius here. We're going to get him to his 1,000. Boom. Boom. Scene. Chrome. Ooh, which one are you? Are you that one? Okay. Here we go. Done. So, Marius is the wonderful man from Germany who does all the edits and cuts clips and posts them for me because I'm incompetent. And he also created a history channel about lots of like World War II history facts and World War I history facts. He's got a publishing company and access to a whole bunch of photographs that have never been seen before. He's got thousands and thousands of views. How many views does he have now? Is it in here? 34,000 views and only 151 subscribers. So he can't monetize his channel. And he works hours and hours and hours making these things. So we're trying to get him to 1,000 subs so that he can monetize his channel and get paid for all the cool work, historical work he's doing. He's a history major by training, and he's gonna make some longer videos. And I told him that I'd do the voiceovers for those because him, doing his German and English isn't quite coming out the way he had hoped. German accent. So I'm going to do voiceovers for him. We're trying to get him to 1,000 subs because he's got plenty of views to monetize, but he does not have the number of subscribers to be able to monetize. And the YouTube minimum is 1,000. So the 215 of you in here, by all means, just subscribe so you can get to that limit, and you can learn some history. It's a short little 1-minute thing. So help a brother out. That's what I would say. All right. Oh, and here's the link. Link is in the chat now. There you go. Bing. Oh, son of a bitch. I did nighttime show last time. I'm going to become one of those people who yanks all their eyebrow hairs out in frustration. Okay. I don't know. Did we even make it any days, Monkey? Monkey's so upset that when she got off the bed, she's like, I'm out. Quiet Quest. Do you have any big stock crypto plays? Crypto plays? No. No. If there were long puts available on crypto on any platform, I would put the shit out of it. Coinbase is unraveling. Do Kwon just got arrested. Binance is limiting withdrawals again, and they got a whole bunch of guys facing criminal charges. And Tether's just bullshit. And 50% of all crypto transactions were made using Tether, and Tether is going to vaporize. It's not a matter of if, but when. So, no crypto plays. Stock plays, just sitting in the memes. That's it. If I had the cash, if I had the extra cash, if I had not screwed up my calls this week, I would have taken that money and I would have just put puts on banks across the board. Just thousands of dollars in puts on banks. What are you doing over there, coffee dog? Now that would be my play, but I don't have the extra cash moment because I'm an idiot. and I sold the day too early. So that's where we are. Dan Harris, Greece, Houston, Fidelity forever. Not. Yeah, Fidelity seems to screwed up a lot of things. Like people who transfer one account to another are being forced to pay taxes on their MMTLP price on the day that they transferred accounts. That's crazy. They're saying that, you know, it doesn't matter if you bought 2, 3, 4, 500 years ago. The fact that it became NextBridge, you gained and sold for profit. No, I haven't sold anything. I still have, like, if you wanted to say I sold something, let me sell something, right? I didn't sell anything. I still have all the shares that I purchased. So they're definitely screwing up. I don't know what's going on their end and what weirdo accountant they've got doing those numbers, but they're wrong. Reset to the chat. Scroll back up. Go back to where we were. Justin G. Ohio police suing Afro Man. A part of me wonders what discovery would bring. Yeah. So if you guys don't know, police in Ohio raided Afro Man's house, and he got security cameras everywhere. So it filmed the cops going through his garage and his kitchen, everything, and, you know, investigating. They found nothing. He had nothing illegal. No crimes whatsoever were committed. And so he took the live footage and made a rap video. Took the CCTV footage, made a rap video of all the cops, you know, raiding his house. And the cops are upset and now suing him for violation of privacy. Really? Your privacy was violated, and not the man who didn't commit a crime having a whole bunch of cops raid his home. That wasn't an invasion of privacy. So, I think it's hilarious. The music video is just brilliant. And B, don't get warrants for crimes that didn't happen. So, you know, tough shit. You got caught on camera. Oh, no. But they're not going to get anything out of him. Whoever Afro Man's lawyers are, they will eat them for breakfast, get Rule 11 sanctions, and then the police department's going to have to paying for this whole suit. Dog Mom Houston, how long till the market has historic crash? Soon. I mean, Yellen had an emergency meeting today and apparently brought in a bunch of credit unions at the same time. And people are like, oh, shit, does that mean credit unions are in trouble? I have no idea. It could mean that credit unions are getting a boatload of new accounts being formed. And Yellen might be like, oh, what are you going to do with this? Simply because people are leaving banks and making new accounts in credit unions. But I think we're on the cusp. It could be a flash crash, you know? Some algorithm goes nuts on Monday, Tuesday, and everything just goes blunk, and they have to shut everything down. Everyone panics, and they, oh, don't worry. And it just goes from there. It could be something that's just steady and eating away like termites on the on the foundation or something. What are you looking at? You're staring at me again. It's way too early. It is way too early for you to be staring at me like that. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, when the crash can happen. The fact that everyone's talking about it, the inevitability that every business channel you go to, every thing you read in Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg and everything else, it's basically like, it's coming. It's going to crash. It's going to crash hard. All that does is just reaffirm that it's soon. But the specific date, I don't know. Oh, they want the cat in? Is that what you want? Come on, dummy. Get in here. All right, cat's in. Dog's loving it. Doing the cat sniff. It's just coming. We don't know how, when, why. The specific moment. Oh my god, the cat just climbed my leg like a jungle gym. I have holes in my thigh. Ow. Oh my gosh. Ugh, why does he do that? I am not a tree, you little bitch. Ow. Oh. Okay. Well, put a hole in those pants. Ding dong. Every time I sit down on the toilet, look down, like, oh, I've got holes all over my legs because of this little asshole. I can hear the kettle boiling through the wall. Great Ape Knowles. Grape Nuts. What do you think is going on in Yellen's closed door meeting today? Also, any predictions for GME price action these next few months? Next few months, not a clue. Monday, green. There'll be just a pinch of gamma on Monday. It wasn't a big options week, but we went through 6 levels of potential call prices. So you just get a pinch of gamma. As far as what Yellen is talking about, I mean, the meeting is probably doom and gloom. It's probably setting up some sort of action plan with these banks and the credit unions saying, okay, not all of you will be here this time next year. And we need to make sure that you guys can take on customers and you can assume control of this thing. And then if this bank goes under, this bank can take over. If this credit union goes under, these credit unions can subsume control. That's probably exactly what you're talking about. My guess is the closed door meetings are where the truth gets spilled, where they look at data sheets and they go, you are fucked, Bank A. Your holdings for your depositors are garbage and not worth anything. And if anyone gets whiff of how bad things are, you're done. And the FDIC is going to have to step in and take you over. You aren't much better, but you might have enough cash on hand to take on their liabilities or something. I don't know. But when they have these meetings, it's not because things are going swimmingly. It's not like they're having cake and high-fiving and drinking glasses of champagne. It's doom and gloom that's going on behind those closed doors. Emergency meetings are never good. So, and what they'll talk about behind those closed doors, they will not talk about in public. They'll be like, everything's fine. There's nothing to worry about. There is no contagion. Everything is fine. And they'll say that forever and ever and ever. And the house could be on fire. They could have like a bow and arrow sticking out of their chest. And they'll be like, this is just temporary. Everything's fine. Ow. I wouldn't worry about this. Greatest jobs report of all time. Inflation is down. All they're gonna do is highlight the few good things and ignore the arrow sticking out of their chests and the fact that their house is on fire. So I'd be really curious to know what goes on in those things. I would love to know, but we won't know until 2 years later when some investigative reporter has a bunch of bank execs who will go off the record with them. Michael Harrow. Curtis put out a great tweet responding to the FINRA frequently asked questions. Okay, I don't know who Curtis is. Michael Steegs, Houston. Are there consequences for Trump in the situation at Deutsche Bank? That's a good question, because he does have a lot of money in there. And his banker apparently was Justice Kennedy's son. So I wonder. He also has a lot of money in Chinese banks. He probably has money in offshore banks all over the place that we don't know about, because that's what rich guys do. I'd be curious to see like where discovery in that trial, where it leads, because it's involving money laundering, right? They laundered campaign funds to pay off Stormy Daniels, and that is supposed to be reported, and you can't use campaign funds for something like that. So my guess is that if you can follow the money trail, wherever the money trail leads is probably fair game for prosecutors. And if it leads to Deutsche Bank, then that's where it goes. I'd be curious to see what happens. There's been no indictment yet, but all the rumblings everywhere that it's happening. But I guess the grand jury has not said one way or the other yet. And that's just one of them. He's also facing legal trouble for the classified docs, which the Department of Justice is basically said that there's more of them that he hasn't turned over yet that are missing. And Also in Georgia, there's a grand jury convened for his trying to manipulate the election. So he could be facing indictments in 3 different jurisdictions all at the same time. That'd be a bummer. Oh, Scam. Scam Likely's calling. Oh, boy. All right. Thank you, Scam Likely. Michael Arrow, Houston, if you were hit by Gwyneth Paltrow while skiing, do you think you'd win in a lawsuit, or does her celeb status overpower the truth? I mean, if I was hit by Gwyneth Paltrow skiing, my guess is that she would explode into 1,000 pieces because she weighs about 85 pounds. That there'd be more damage done to her than ever could be done to me. That being said, if somehow she did knock my ass out and then told my kids that she was like, I'm famous, boom, let's get off, there would have to be some sort of suit against Gwyneth Paltrow. We go to court. My excuse isn't going to be I can no longer enjoy my wine tours or whatever. It'd be like, my brain broke. It was broken by this goop head over here. I cannot enjoy wine tastings anymore. I can't go at altitude to my ski chalet because of my brain breakage. No, that trial is the whitest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Then again, like, I have collided with someone before. I thought I killed her. I may have told this story the other day, but I was at Whistler, I don't know, 7-8 years ago, and there was an inversion. So it's sunny up top, the clouds are down below, so it's like a fog bank in the middle of the mountain, and skiing down, and in the middle, just smack dab in the middle of the run, was a ninja. White skis, white boots, white onesie, white gloves, white goggles, white hat, white face mask, just standing in the middle of a low visibility cloud in the middle of a white ski field. And I just creamed this lady. I thought I killed her. I wasn't going that fast, but like the sound of all the air leaving her body when I just boom hit this chick, I was like, oh shit, I just broke every rib in her body and she's dead. She immediately popped up. She's like, oh, my fault. Oh my God. Oh, it's all me. It's my fault. I'm okay. And then she proceeded to try and find her invisible accoutrement that had yard sailed all over the white slopes. But I can imagine. Yeah, you get hit by someone going at great rates of speed. I mean, you can hit 60 miles an hour on a slope, no problem. Even on like rental skis. So getting hit by an object that's a couple 100 pounds at that speed would just not end well for whoever gets hit. Maybe Gwyneth will give you her special soap. Goop soap. Smells like my hoo-ha. Gwyneth Paltrow is a total scammer. She's just like Alex Jones for hippie ladies who have live, laugh, love on their walls. Pen name. What if Amazon was shorted below $1 for months? They might try that. If Amazon has a few more bad quarters, the short hedge funds may be like, you know what? Well, let's kill this. It could happen. I mean, Sears doesn't exist anymore, and Sears was the largest retailer in the entire world at one time. So, it's totally within the realm of possibilities. Now, I guess it depends how much cash does Amazon have on hand. They had negative quarters all this last year. Yeah. So, did I miss another one? Did I miss any other super chats in there? No. I think I got some. Okay. All right, where was the Gwyneth Paltrow one? Oh, Michael Harris. Okay. Black Udon. Good morning, everyone. Morning? You must be Australia? New Zealand? George777. Love your streams. Also, great job. Well, thank you, George. Patrick Squires. Congrats on your ongoing channel success. Well deserved. Well, thank you. People congratulating me on... I'm on 280. I'm on show 280. Whoa. Whoa. I'm like, that's a lot of shows. Dragon, all say, can you see by the dawn's early light what's so proudly at the twilight's last gleaming? Okay, Dragon. Jason Blackwell, Houston, what do cardiologists call undersized hearts? Kevin. I started watching Last of Us finally the other night, and the girl has a pun book that I think probably the same pun book that Jason has. Quantum Shore can't pay the military if the soldiers won't accept their dollar dues. That's all comes down to that belief system. But the military is what makes our dollar dues worth something, because it's a huge military. So chicken and egg right there. Hoshi Gaming, Houston. I think my colleague is flirting with me. I'm working at school and I'm 28. She's 24. Should I go for it? Or am I confusing friendliness tasket? Here's what I'll say. When you are a man in the workplace, just be her colleague and friend. And if there is a move to be made, she'll make it. That's what I say. Don't be the dude making the move in the workplace. That work? I don't know. It's a be stronger than lizard brain situation. Don't make it uncomfortable for them. Just be a colleague and friend. Phil Clayton, Houston, hope you are well. What's your rough time frame for profitability on Acme? Was on Reddit, and the page is full of trolls, shills, nasty so-and-sos. I have faith in it. 5 years? Somewhere around there. I mean, they might make it sooner than that if they sign up a deal with, a Samsung or an Apple to do things for screens and whatnot. They just, got a huge deal for their nanotech outfit. Basically, their contract for the nanotech outfit was almost as much as they paid for the nanotech outfit, so that's pretty good. There's still a startup. Still coming. Flip 32, have you heard about U.S. forces targeted twice today in Syria? What's up with that? We're still in Syria? What was it? The Bashar al-Assad's? I cannot spell. I have my finger crying at so many keys at the same time. CBS News, new attack against U.S. base in Syria after alleged Iranian drone kills American contractor drawing airstrikes. New missile strike target at U.S. base in northeast Syria Friday, a day after a U.S. contractor was killed and 5 U.S. service members and another U.S. contractor wounded when a suspected Iranian drone hit a coalition base in the same region. According to officials, U.S. officials confirmed the new attack targeting an American base southeast of Syria. Oops, I don't have this thing up here. Southeast of the Syrian province of Deir el-Zur on Friday, saying there were lots of rockets fired, but no known U.S. casualties. A report surfaced earlier that the Friday missile salvo had targeted a U.S. base near the Al Omar oil field, northeast Syria. The Reuters news agency and local media, including pro-Iranian outlet based in Lebanon, first reported the strike. Photos and reports on social media suggest at least one missile had missed the intended target, hitting homes in the region instead. Oops. Attack came hours after U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said in a statement that U.S. Central Command forces had retaliated for Thursday's deadly drone attack with a precision airstrike against facilities in eastern Syria used by groups affiliated with Iran's Revolutionary Guard. The Defense Department said the intelligence community had determined the unmanned aerial vehicle used in Thursday's attack was of Iranian origin. Sounds like we're proxy warring in Syria some more. Well, guess that's our future. Welcome to World War III. Congratulations, everybody. We did it. Yay. Geminius, I've got tons of VIX calls. Would love to see the market free fall, or I mean, go America, higher highs. Yep. Time to short the VIX, right? Or no. Not short the VIX. Pump the VIX, short the SPY. Brendan Cowells. Cowells? Cowells. How does one buy actual gold, silver, etc.? What would you recommend? You can buy like into a gold. You can do it as a investment vehicle. You can buy into like a gold ETF, mutual fund, etc. Or you can literally just go buy gold. That's one way to do it. To have physical gold, buy gold coins, buy ingots, buy jewelry, buy anything that has gold in it. You can just go and buy that. And the best deals you'll get per ounce is at auction. Going to local estate sale auctions and things like that. You'll pick it up for, sometimes as low as like 20 cents on the dollar. You can get gold, especially like things like class rings. They're 10 karat gold, so they're like 40 something % gold, and the rest might be copper and silver and anything else. It might have $300 in gold in it. You might be able to pick it up for like $40 at an auction. So that always seems to work out pretty well. But otherwise, just from your account, you can like gold ETF and do that. There might be maintenance fees along with it because that's how ETFs work. But it's easier than lugging around a bunch of gold. Don Caesar Shadem, BITI is the short Bitcoin futures ETF, runs inverse to Bitcoin. Okay, so there's an ETF out there that allows me to short the hell out of it. Excellent. Josh Papels, Tennessee. Hey, happy birthday, Houston. I have the Rona, but vaxxed, so not so bad. No taste and smell, and staying home for a few days. My question is, what are the chances indictment of Trump and arrest do anything at all? I mean, what they will do is they'll have indicted and charged him, and arrested him. The thumbprints thing. He'll probably be released on bond. I would wonder if the judge would require him to relinquish his passports, though. That'd be interesting. If he's released on bond or with no bail or whatever, if he would say like, you got to give me all like 10 of your passports, just make sure you don't like fly to the UAE and thumb your nose at everyone. But then at that point, then it becomes the hoopla of trial, which, you're looking at a year out until he faces trial, probably, maybe 2, because of just how much stuff is going to have to come out and papers and, Trump will go through like 40 lawyers because all of his lawyers are being charged with crimes as well because they seem to do illegal things constantly. So, they'll be like, oh, we got a new lawyer today. Can't move the screen again. Monkey butt. You're so adorable. So it might be a year or 2 out before a trial happens. And then the trial happens and it's up to the jury to either convict or acquit. And, if he gets charged in 3 different jurisdictions, he could be spread a little thin, especially since like he can't seem to find good lawyers. He's got some hot ladies that were working for him recently, and they all seem to be possibly copping their own charges. So, I don't know who would want to take it on at this point, especially when his lawyers keep going to prison. Yes, I'll take the job. No, thank you. Kirk Wilson, Houston deserts can be found almost anywhere next to oceans, rivers, bordered by rainforests. on all continents. Please explain why they're found next to oceans and how the Sun Belt is so massive. Oh boy. Let's Google Earth it then. Bam. Google Earth. Take the Chrome out of there. Bye, Chrome. Oh, we still got the Strong people. Strong party. Exit Street View. We're going to pull out here. Okay. So we've talked in the past about the deserts existing at the 30-degree latitudes. So here in Australia, this is 20. This is where's the desert start? 19 degrees to 33 or so is the outback. So the high 30s is what we call this region, and that's because the sun warms up all that air over the equator. The air rises and has to go somewhere. So you get these big convection belts, right? So it convects out, and around the 30-degree latitudes is where the air descends again, creating a high pressure, which makes it nice and sunny, because high pressure is when the air is descending and warming, and all that water, moisture stays as water vapor and doesn't form clouds, so it doesn't rain. So you get high pressure areas like here. You can go north, and you can look at the 30-degree latitudes across, Sahara, the Arabian, the Persian, out to the Gobi. These are all deserts as well. And same thing. Air rises, has to go somewhere, it descends over these regions. Head out to the Americas, got our great deserts out here in the 30-degree latitudes. You head down to Atacama, out here at the 30-degree latitudes. Head over to Africa, you got the Kalahari at 30-degree-ish latitudes in the south, and you got the Sahara at the north. So you got these giant sunbelt deserts that happen across all the continents in that, it's between 20 and 30 degrees, 35 degrees latitude. That's not the only way deserts are created, though. Deserts also get created via orographic lift. So if we were to zoom in on just this little island of Hawaii that I talk about so much, you can see the island of Hawaii has all sorts of different colored lands here. You got these really green regions to the east. And out here you got the Kona Desert, where it's dry and brown. And there's just literally a line across the land as to where it rains and where it doesn't rain. And this is because that air that rises from the equator, it goes up, heads out, and it descends upon the 30-degree latitudes. It descends over California. So the air comes down, and then it has to return back to the equator again, so it can warm up and rise. And so it creates these trade winds that blow essentially from North America, from the northeast across Hawaii on its way back to the equator, where it will warm up and descend again. And so Hawaii gets these regular trade winds happening all the time, all day, every day, blowing. The air hits the mountain and has to move up and over the mountain range. And as it hits the mountain and blows over it, the air is forced to rise, where it cools, condenses, turns to clouds, and rains. So these regions here at 5,000-6,000 feet, it's raining 400 inches a year. Here in Hilo, 150 inches, 200 inches. And then the minute you get over the mountains, the air drops back down again, where it warms as it goes down. That condensed air turns back into water vapor, and you get sunny. So out here, 400 inches of rain a year. Here, 5. 400 inches. And how many miles away is this? And 31 miles away, 5 inches of rain a year. And this happens a lot in basin range across the U.S. So we can go here to Washington, right? The winds come mostly prevailing from the east, from the west and southwest. And so they hit like the Olympic range, and they got to do the same thing. They got to go up and over the Olympic mountains. So they hit the Olympic mountains, and they try to go up and over. Here is the Hoh rainforest, will rain a couple hundred inches a year. And then over here in Sequim, they get 16 inches of rain. Because they're on the leeward side, the side where the air is descending. They passed a law in Sequim, kind of a joke law saying it's illegal to rain in Sequim. But in just a little, here in Seattle, you get 40, 50 inches of rain a year, because you get a lot less of that orographic result, because the wind goes to this lowlands here. But then again, the winds hit the Cascade Mountains, tons of rain, tons of snow, and then you have a desert over here where it rains 10 inches a year, maybe, out in eastern Washington. All these farm fields are supported by the rivers that pass through. And down in California, same thing. You know, you have the wetter side. They don't, not super wet this year. They are of the Sierra Nevadas. We got forests and redwoods and stuff. And the minute it drops off the other side, super dry, bone dry. Deserts, mono lake, all these things out here, super dry deserts. And then you can get, you know, orographic lift in the mountain range, desert on the basin range side, orographic lift in the mountain range, desert in the basin range side, orographic lift in the mountain range, desert in the basin range side, and just does it for every single solitary mountain range all across Nevada, through Utah, etc. Same thing. Trees, desert, trees, desert, trees, desert, trees, desert, over and over and over and over and over and over and over across this entire basin range. You can see it just as like stripes through these mountain ranges here. And then the bigger the lowlands are, the larger the desert is between them. You can get down to Atacama. So again, you know, the 20 to 30 degree latitudes, hot and dry. But you got the Andes, these giant mountain range here, and the prevailing winds down here go the opposite direction. They come from the east, and they dump all their water on the Amazon, and then they hit this mountain range, dump even more water, and then the minute they get over the mountains and start coming down the other side, they dry out and make a desert. So the Atacama, outside of Antarctica, is the driest desert in the world. They have actual buildings made out of salt. They get such a low amount of rain in some of these towns. They have the churches and stuff. They've been there for 400 years, made out of salt blocks, and they've never melted because it doesn't rain. But the driest desert in the entire world is Antarctica. The equivalent rainfall in places near the South Pole are less than an inch a year. You have, you know, it might get maybe a fraction of an inch of snowfall every year falling on these giant glaciers, but the glaciers are miles and miles thick, which tells you that millions and millions of years have passed. And this is largely because the Roaring 50s, which is this unimpeded oceanic circle here, the winds just roar and roar and roar and roar and roar, and they just whip around because they don't have any land to slow them down. And it's just this constant cycle of storms to just go everywhere. But then, as a result, the storms don't actually pass over the mainland. They just keep whipping in this wind channel. So it ends up being very bone dry out here. So there. Did that help? Talk about various deserts and how they form. That's the quick hand wavy explanation. Hope that worked. Okay. Where was I? Guitar stuff, crypto and gold are running as people lose confidence in banks, but they'll dump when the market dumps. They might, and then build right back up again, right? Oh, look at that dog. She's staring at me. She's staring. Is this dog wants blanket over her head? Is that what you want? Yeah? Well, you have to get off the blanket. I can't put it over your head if you're standing on it. This is a problem in physics you've yet to accomplish. You are a smart dog, but you are a dumb blanket stander. Yeah. If you want the blanket, you gotta get off the blanket. There you go. That's what she wanted. Every single time. I'm helpless. I don't have thumbs. Please do this for me. Dragon, Utah, if you're under, can't open account. Need your parents pissed you? What? Dragon? I don't know what you're saying there, buddy. Money over Mayo. I think every politician should go on an inverse VR space travel to see Earth from outer space so it can change the narrow worldview. I see if it works. I'd rather just send them into space. Maybe not to come back, but they can just keep going. Limit 22. Because of the level of exposure, we are starting to see and speculate how deceiving the United States markets are. If you had to post MA, what other world market would you park your assets? Korea? Norway? That's probably about it. Japan's population is shrinking too fast. They're going to contract no matter what because they don't have the population to keep up. Yeah. I mean, there might be some emerging economies like bank safe havens that survive this. You know, your small tropical islands that are banking safe havens for the worst people in the world. They may weather the storm just fine. But there are a lot of hedge funds based out of there, so maybe they won't. Oh, Korea, Norway. Dr. Spurgeon, the Sturgeon Surgeon, P.S. LV. P.S. LV. Sprott Physical Silver Trust. There's one. Okay, so it's a silver one. It went down today. But it's up overall. At bottom at $6.87. Currently at $8. Oh, you can't see because I didn't. There we go. Oh, that's Google Earth. Bam. There we go. Nope. That's nothing at all. I just turned Google Earth off, but I didn't turn you on. There we go. That's the one we wanted. Okay, so Sprott hovers at 8, hovers at 8, hovers at 8 since February. Blah, 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 bong. And they're back up again. So I guess it'll hover 8 for a while or spike. Silver. Philip Clayton, is GMG stock the same company as GMGMF? Want to ensure I've got the stock in the right company. GMGMF is the one on the Toronto Exchange. That's the one I have. I don't know if GMG is if there's a version on like an Australian exchange or something. I don't know. I just know that the Toronto Exchange is where you can get GMG at the moment, and that's where I got mine. Bex Houston, happy birthday. You can add other people's channels to yours that you follow. Makes them easier to find. Okay, I will learn how to do that, Bex. Thank you. And then we can get Marius more exposure for himself. What are we at? Did we up this at all? 182. We got 30 more for Marius. He's 18% of the way there. We'll get him to his 1,000. We'll get there. Those who are watching at home later on the recorded version, head on over to Marius' page. Give him a subscription. Help that history buff get his history money. That sweet, sweet history cash. Okay. Calls on Eye of Africa next. Money over Mayo. I think Macron was thinking about the guillotine when he removed his expensive watch in the middle of the interview. Yeah, did you see that video? He's talking about, make these sacrifices, whatever, and he realizes he has an $80,000 watch on his hand. His hand goes on the table, and it kind of works while he's talking. And then when it comes up, there's no watch on his wrist, and he keeps talking. Smooth move, but I got caught by everybody. The problem is that there are watch people out there. There are like watch files, people that like their eyes always look to see what kind of watch someone's wearing. And they can identify it from a million miles away and know exactly what model. And they're like the sneaker files. The people that care about sneakers, that's all they focus on are watches. And so if you're going to have that watch on your hand, leave it there. Keep doing your thing, because only the watch nerds will be like, oh, did you see that watch you had in his hand? But the minute you take it off, it becomes a news story. He just Barbara Streisand himself on that one. I don't think Macron has much longer in office. He just barely survived a no confidence vote. Paris is burning, trash everywhere. No one's going to work. Is a level of French protest I have not seen to this point. I was there in 2010 when they were protesting, trying to raise the retirement age back then, and we're talking, 500,000 people marching by, banging drums, blaring whistles, and then where they end up, they start flipping cars and light stuff on fire. And who was 2010? It was pervy guy. Kitty, you tell me. The pervert one who cheated on his hot wife with other hot ladies. Can't remember. That's all French presidents. But they couldn't get through with it. They're like, well, country's gonna burn down if we do this. And now the country's burning down now that they did it. So the amount of money you saved on paying out pensions from 62 to 64, is it more or less than rebuilding the entire country? That's what I'm wondering. Come over here, cat. Come over. Come on. Yeah, there you are. Well, you want to go snuggle in that blanket because see the dog looking all nice and comfy? I see that. Well, there you go. That was graceful. Okay. Reset of the stupid chat. Quit resetting. Really, cat? Papa Shock, check out the ape share count. I saw a tweet from Adam Aaron today saying the ape share count stuff was not real, but I didn't really see what he was referring to. Someone was saying there's like 1 trillion ape shares out there. If there's 1 trillion ape shares, my guess it would be some sort of weird crypto stock thing, like they did with every other one of those crypto stocks. They just make a ticker, print as many of them as you want, and you just sell them, and some idiot will buy them. Troy M. Houston, put the website for Marius where the Chimney Guys are. He plenty of time there. Oh, Chimney Guys, I mean, they did a hell of a lot of work. They're going to be up there in perpetuity, probably. But I might, hopefully our man here got enough help for his GoFundMe. And maybe we could put Marius's history channel on there. Again, also, $50. Throw your thing up there. Get yourself a show until somebody else pays you about $50. Although this one, I did not charge for the GoFundMe. Pancheco, sorry, got that wrong. Any thoughts on Tom Luongo's insinuation that there is a shadow war between the U.S. Federal Reserve and the Davosites? I don't know who Tom Luongo is. I have no idea if there's a shadow war between the U.S. Federal Reserve and the Davosites. Most of the stuff I see from people who are really paranoid about the World Economic Forum don't really understand what goes on at the World Economic Forum. For 50 years, right? Schwab, the dude who started the Economic Forum, he's like, we are going to get together and we're going to make the world a better place with our huge assets. And everyone's like, cool. And really they go so they can bang a bunch of Russian prostitutes and shake hands with other billionaires they can do deals with. That's what WEF is. And, they'll have some talks, some goody two-shoes, and some journalists will show up and give a talk on, we got refugees, we got the world's falling. And everyone's like, oh, good for you. But really, they're there to have sex with a bunch of Russian prostitutes and shake hands with other billionaires. That's it. That's the WEF. And they meet once a year to do exactly that. The thing about billionaires is that almost all of them are incurable sociopaths, narcissists, and psychopaths. All of them want to be the greatest thing in the entire world, and all of them secretly hate each other's guts. They're not real friends with each other. They are competitors, and you can only be buddy with them if you have a use for them. If they have a use for you, or you have a use for them, or whatever, then you like team up on something and be like, oh, we do this project together because we both make a bunch of money off a bunch of other people. But outside of that, it's fuck you. I want to be in charge. And so like the notions of like this new world order that's coming out of this, none of these dudes can agree on anything. They all want to be in charge. And how are you going to, if you've got 200 people that want to be in charge, how do you effectively have anyone in charge? My little sister once, who, she runs a Fortune 500 company as chief of staff. And she's like, if there was an organization like the Illuminati or the New World Order or whatever that managed to be as secretive as they are, to run the world's governments from behind this curtain, she was like, I would work for them in an instant because of what a nightmare it is trying to manage any level of staffing anywhere, let alone a secret cabal, right? Like, it's just, I just don't think it's that organized. And what the Fed is doing right now is not making up their mind. They're having their cake and eating it too. They either need to give up and just go quantitative easing, we're just going to have inflation forever, or they need to fight inflation. They can't do both at the same time. And I'm on the side of you kill inflation, whatever banks die. And then you can start over from there. And how I'd start over is I'd break up every big bank in existence so that there are no such thing as big banks, and just spread it out across the country so that no banks have any power, unusual power after that. They're not going to do any of those things. They're going to dump a bunch of money into banks while raising rates. We're going to get stagflation, and it's going to be worse and longer than anything we've ever experienced. And everything's going to consolidate into like one or two mega banks that are going to rule the world and make things worse in the long run. But, you know, I'm just some dude. They're the guys who are scared of ever having a hard crash, which is what we need to have. And yeah, hard crash is going to suck. But that's when you hard crash, then you can capital spend. And you don't capital spend by bailing out all the banks. You capital spend on giant infrastructure projects, building schools, getting people to work, building train stations, fixing up lodges in the national parks and doing stuff like that. You get the capital to the people first, and then the people spend it elsewhere and the economy rises. You don't just dump it on some banks. The banks go, I'm going to loan a bunch at 0% all over again. And you just start the stupid cycle all over. Improve ports, build new bridges, fix hydroelectric dams, put in high-speed rail, do all sorts of things that can help the population itself, keep them working and getting cash in their pockets. That's my method. No one's going to do my method, though. That's too old school. Cat, what are you doing? The dog looks like she wants to pounce on the cat all of a sudden. That's the monkey nose sticking out, staring at the cat right now. They're just staring at each other. Oh, here it goes. They're so weird. Okay. Takeda Raw, happy birthday, Houston. I was on a space call on Twitter, and this one guy was like, Bitcoin is a savior. I asked them about Tether crashing, madly affecting Bitcoin, and they have not responded. That happens a lot. There's a guy the other day, there was a post from someone talking about how the feds are looking at basically seizing Tether's assets because there are none. And Peter Hahn was involved, talking about how he talked about it. CoffeeZilla talked about it. I threw my third show ever, which was basically about how Tether is a giant scam from 2 years ago, and then the guy's like, no one uses Tether for anything, and you point out to them, no, over 50% of all crypto transactions are done using Tether, and they can only find 3 cents on the dollar, and no one knows who owns those bank accounts. There are no owners listed. They are nameless accounts, and no one knows who's behind Tether or where $80 billion went. It is gone. Poof. Gone. So if you want to, you got to pay your mortgage or whatever. So you have to sell some Bitcoin, right? Well, Bitcoin's going to go into a Tether coin, which is then going to go into cash. And you can take your cash out of that thing and pay your mortgage or pay the rent on your house or groceries or whatever, right? If you go to sell your Bitcoin and Tether decouples and isn't worth anything anymore, there is no one to buy your Bitcoin from you. And if there's no one to buy your Bitcoin from you, then your Bitcoin is worthless, right? Who wants to buy a crypto if they can't actually buy it because the thing that connects the crypto to the actual fiat currency that's useful currently doesn't work anymore because every other friggin', Tether coin, US dollar coin, Luna, whatever, they all shit the bed. And just like the run of the bank, right? Like, oh, my money's gone. I need to go get my cash out of Tether right now because I deposited whatever millions of dollars into Tether to buy Bitcoin. So I'm going to go get it out. So you go get it out. And someone else is like, oh, I should get it out too. And before long, $2.5–3 billion of Tether has been turned into cash. And then that person comes along, that straw with the camel's back comes along and says, I want my money from Tether. And Tether goes, denied. We don't have your cash. It's gone. Then poof goes the entire crypto market. Every last thing becomes worthless because if you can't get cash into it, you can't get cash out of it, then there are no buyers and sellers. They cease to exist. So, oops. You thought SVB was bad, or Signature Bank, or Credit Suisse. Imagine now the entire crypto market being worthless. Just trillions in what is it worth right now? Market cap of crypto. Market cap, cryptocurrency, cap calculator. No, I want global cryptocurrency. Okay, 1.21 trillion is current. That's where we are. That's from CoinGecko. 1.21 trillion. Give me the graph there, CoinGecko. Let's see here. Okay, so it had peaked at one time at 3 trillion. This was November 2021, and then it dropped down to below a trillion, and now we're at 1.2 trillion or so. If 50% of all transactions to boost the value of this crypto is nothing but Tether coin, right? And you can talk about all the other tethered coins, the fixed coins, that have since blinked out of existence or having trouble decoupling right now. Those are small little pieces, and Luna, which was a small little piece, died. It dropped $1 trillion right there. It was at 2.19, dropped down to 942 billion. So it dropped over $1 trillion just from Luna, their Tether coin, going belly up. So now imagine the coin that is 50% of all transactions. It'll blink out of existence. That's it. And there isn't a large enough population base to keep demand going. Monkey, leave the cat alone. Just, I don't want any more holes in my leg. So like 90% of crypto is owned by 1 or 2% of all crypto holders. They are the messenger. They're the ones who minted the coins. They're the ones that have the mines or whatever. They own the majority of it, and it's like De Beers. The fact that they hold on to it and don't sell is one of the reasons why there's rarity, and it can be worth anything. The minute those big fellas who are hedge funds and banks and large institutions and everything else that controls everything else, the minute those guys have to sell, then it's game over. It just drops like a rock, and you got to start all over again. That's the future that crypto is going to hold. There's just no way to get around that, right? If De Beers, who had 90% of all the gemstones on Earth, suddenly had to sell all the gemstones become worthless because the market gets flooded. That's what's going to happen if these big banks, institutions are getting just murdered on bonds, and you can't use crypto as collateral and stuff. So you're going to have to sell it for cash, which can be used as collateral. And, I don't see it as a safe harbor. Temporarily, sure, maybe. But it's uninsured, it's unregulated. It is definitely manipulated. It is full of a huge criminal element. And the three uses for it, again, paying for crime, money laundering, speculation. That's it. Those are the three uses. You can't use it for everyday currency because its value fluctuates too much. It can't be accepted by everybody. And it can't be used everywhere in the world. So What are you gonna do? I'm just gonna hold on to my crypto. It's gonna be worth $1 million a coin soon. No, it's not. it's gonna be worth far less than that because whoever's behind Tether is gonna get arrested, blink, out of existence all over again. Michael O'Hara, why is Adam Aaron suddenly acknowledging numbers are out of whack on AMC market cap? Because numbers are out of whack on AMC market cap? I don't know. He wasn't talking about it before, so beats me. Bucks 03 fan, Wells Fargo is next. Very likely. I think right now it's a three-way race. It's a three-way race between Citibank, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America. One of those three is going to go. It could be in any order. I'd be curious to see what happens if Bank of America goes because they have an investment bank arm, whereas the other two don't. Will Goldman or JP take on that investment arm? I have no idea. Dr. Spurgeon says Citigroup looks shaky. Yep. Iggy Limon, Chalupo's only giving you the white glove treatment. Oh, dude. My leg still hurts, you little stinker. Tedalus, happy birthday. Evergrande, minus 95% today. What's up with that? Yeah, they're at 3/10,000ths of a dollar. They don't have any money, and they can't pay back their bonds, and everything's going to get seized, and that's it. They're going to cease to exist. Which brings us back to Royal Bank of Canada, Blackstone, and others who have huge bond holdings in Evergrande. Evergrande, or whatever you want to call it. $44 billion by Royal Bank of Canada. Now, I want to know if and when RBC writes off those bonds because they're worthless. They are worth nothing. You are never going to get any of the interest payments. You're never going to get any of the principal payments. It is worthless sheets of paper you spent $44 billion on, and it's gone. But what hasn't happened yet is them going, excuse me, my money's gone. They just are just completely ignoring it. I don't know what I'm talking about. Blah, 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 blah. And what is RBC's assets? RBC assets under management. $749 billion is RBC's global assets management. So $44 billion is a significant portion of that. That would be calculator. Okay, whoops. Calculator. All right. Clear 44 divided by 749. So it's 6% of all their assets, and just that one bond. Now, I don't know what they have in other Chinese bonds, because all those are worthless too. You're not going to get a dime out of the municipal bonds. You're not going to get paid. You have other real estate bonds, you're not getting money out of that either, because this blinking out of existence will cause a cascade of all the others. So I don't know what the diversity is about their assets, but I'd be worried if they're refusing to write off 6% of their total holdings because they're scared. Was scary. Someone at Royal Bank of Canada, someone in the Canadian press ask Royal Bank of Canada when they're going to write off the $44 billion of Evergrande bonds that they had. I don't know, Globe and Mail, get on it. You're supposed to be like paper record for Canada. Ask them, knock on their door, and be like, hey, so apparently you have $44 billion of this worthless paper. When are you going to admit it's worthless? We're waiting. Where was I? All right. Doobie Waz, any way to know which banks are represented in this meeting with Yeller? Yellen? Old Yeller? Treasury meeting participants. Let's see if that pops up. News. Is there to say banking system sound and resilient? There you go. It's 1 hour ago. So it says they agree the banking system was sound and resilient. All right, post-meeting press conference. I don't know. Okay, what does Reuters have to say here? FSOC participants heard a presentation on market developments from the staff of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Council discussed current conditions in the banking sector and noted that while some institutions have come under stress, the U.S. banking system remains sound and resilient. The video conference meeting came as markets continued to seesaw amid concerns that a 2-week-old banking crisis sparked by the failure of Silicon Valley and Signature Bank could worsen, spreading more runs on smaller banks. The body of financial regulators led by Yellen and including the heads of the Federal Reserve, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, Securities and Exchange Commission, other regulatory agencies last met on March 12th. That was the same day that the FDIC, Fed, Treasury announced emergency actions to backstop deposits. Nothing new there. FOC members, regular central banks have not yet contained the worst shock since the 2008 crisis. And Wall Street shares recovered from an earlier sell-off as the three Federal Reserve Bank presidents said separate remarks. Basically, they're like, everything's fine. Nothing to see here, folks. We've got it all under control. And meanwhile, the city is burning. Yep. Smoke and mirrors. I don't know what banks attended though. Let's see here. Treasury meeting participant banks. Treasury market conference. That's from November. Okay. Get all. Oversight Council. Nope, not. I have a list here. Somebody who's better at this stuff may have to find it for me. Don's Shadem. Northern Lights we're seeing in Arizona. What the F? Due to insane solar activity or is a local thing involving Earth magnetism? The weird thing is that on the NOAA website, they're like, there's no solar activity. I didn't see anything because it was kind of cloudy here. So no chance for me anyway. Supposedly, if there weren't clouds, I could have seen it. But usually when they're like, there's a giant solar storm, some rando on Twitter that predicts a giant solar storm every night of the week. NOAA says only a G2, but apparently people saw them all over. I didn't because I live in Seattle. So still have never seen the Northern Lights. That's on the bucket list. Every time it supposedly gets this far south, it's cloudy. Or I'm out of state. I'm in Hawaii or something. So I don't get to see it at all. But magnetic storms are awesome. I would love to see one in person. Who the hell was all white in the snow? Safety is worth more than fashion. I think they learned that. It reminds me of when PETA went out into the snow and took all the little leopard seals or whatever, and they spray painted like giant orange X's on them so that the fur trappers couldn't make them into jackets. But then all the seals got eaten by predators because they stood out against the snow. You know, sometimes you want to be camouflaged, sometimes you don't. Oops. Render Reality Houston, I just wanted to say you should try honey during your live show. It'll coat your throat. Sure. Okay. I mean, I use water generally because that's easier to pour out of a tap than honey. Dr. Spurgeon, the Sturgeon Surgeon. I bailed, then got run over last time in Whistler. I hate that place. Too many tourists. Grumble, grumble. There are a lot of tourists there. I after skiing small mountains and stuff and going to Whistler after a while, it seems so crowded. And then, like, Switzerland, there's no one in the mountains because they're all banging their Russian prostitutes. So the mountains are empty. And there's no lines ever. It's just such a wonderful skiing experience. Don't fish off the company dock. Yeah. Simon Kaza. I'll go one step further and say out loud, I don't make the first move in the workplace. There you go. Decatur Raw, I personally left Wells Fargo 2 weeks ago once I received a notice saying, don't worry if your balance are missing. Hello, new credit union account. I did not get a notice from them saying that yet to me, but I don't have a credit union I can easily get to make a new account. Don't sushi him. Eat a pineapple. Yes. Oh, and Josh Pepel's trying to say, I talked about the Trump thing, but I didn't say feel better. If you got COVID, feel better. Julianne, I thought they took his passports when they took the classified files. I think he got them back after they took those. So I think he has them again. Bucks fan. If you don't have physical gold or silver, you don't own any gold or silver. You own paper. Yeah. I mean, what's to stop somebody from creating a gold ETF and just citing a bunch of bags of rocks in a storage somewhere like JP Morgan, right? Whose checks? I could right now, I could make a gold crypto coin. Have it trade at the price of gold. Whatever gold price is, that's what crypto coin trades at. And have no gold whatsoever backing any of it up. You know, as long as I register the company overseas, I can scam you buttholes all I want. So why am I not doing that? Houston Gold. Trade exactly the price of gold. I'll sell you as many coins as you want at that price. And I'll never have a single piece of gold backing any of it up. And you suckers will eat it up. Kitty, we need to make a Cayman LLC like right now. We'll change Problemo coins into Houston Gold, and we'll just mint an infinite number of them and sell them. We'll mint more Houston Gold coins than gold exists in anywhere on the surface of the earth. That's what we'll do. Sounds like Tether. Exactly. That's exactly what Tether did. It's worth $1. That's what it is. I can make as many as I want, and I can buy whatever I want from my account because I said it's worth $1, and for some reason you agreed. Kid Raw, Houston, I love the shows. I've been tuned in since about show 170. How do you become a member? I think you click join. There should be a thing that says join, right? I think so. How do I... Sorry, one sec. Click there. Copy that. Click there. Copy there. Go there. And then I'm going to see myself in stereo. And I got to watch my own commercial. And join, yes. So right below, next to my face, there's this thing that says join. You can click on that sucker, and it will give you the tiers we have for joining. And you can be a problem solver, a monkey butt admirer, science team, and you guys can't see what I'm seeing. So there I am talking about how to become a member, I think, on a previous show. So yeah, you can select those things. You hit the join button right there. And that should be how you do it. So if you want to join and be a member and support Houston spending all of his days answering everyone's questions on in DMs, by all means, please join. I'm gonna figure out how to get the merch thing attached to the thing also to the channel. But YouTube has not been very successful in helping me on that so far. They've been very kind and nice about it, but hasn't been super successful. So yes, thank you. I forget to talk about that stuff. These are things that cause the people in my life to pull their hair out, because I am the worst marketer of myself in history. I just forget to do it. So yes, if you'd like to join, become a member, get a little green name and a little space helmet next to your head, hit that join button, which is there, right about there. And support my internet habit. Thank you. Don Caesar Shadem. Explaining there. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Don. Don's got his little space helmet. CSWSGS, any idea how Geo Rainbolt does his geographic location based of images, coercion behind the scenes, or just crazy ability? Geo Rainbolt. Geo Rainbolt. Oh, he's that weird guy that does GeoGuessr. I mean, dude's probably autistic. And hey, Meow Meow. Meow Meow's a problem solver now. Hey, welcome, Meow Meow. Got yourself a space helmet. Thank you. Yeah, he does these crazy things. My guess is he is completely on the spectrum. and that's how he does it. Or he somehow is doing magic tricks, and he like does it ahead of time and then edits it somehow. I don't know. But there are guys who are like, I am good looking at land, plants, in like the rocks, and I can be like, oh, okay, I must be in one of these locations around the world, and I can narrow it down from there. He can look. He pays attention to things like the shape of telephone poles, and knows exactly what nation he's in, and the angle of light, and he knows what latitude he's at. So he does it in a different way than I do. Do you guys want to do a quick GeoGuessr? Is that what you guys want? Oh, Meow Meow, Monkey Butt Admirer. That's awesome. You're admired wherever you are, Monkey Butt. Should I do a quick GeoGuessr? And we can. Oops. Let's go GeoGuessr. Let's do it. We'll do a real quick one. I'll try to do it his style. Single player. Load, you sun gun. Maps. We'll go world. We'll play world. And we'll play it. Okay. Start game. Where are we going to be? We are going to be Jerusalem. This does not look like Israel, though. This has much more of a Norse feeling to me. 30 kilometers. I'm going to guess that we are north. I'm going to guess that we are, I don't know, somewhere like that. Hey, look at that. We were in Sweden. Okay, see, there you go. Not too far away, 71 miles. Pretty darn good. Next. This is definitely Merca. You can tell that right here. Flat Merca. We are in the just flat strip mall. Okay, I can't see what highway that is. Try not to move. I'm trying not to move. Barbecue, flat. Trees aren't too impressive. It is a little green. RST. Anything giving stuff away. I can't quite read you. The pixels aren't good enough. Ooh. Some big trucks. Got some farm equipment. Man. I'm gonna get somewhere flat, somewhere in the middle. Somewhere flat and in the middle. There. Oh, probably Texas. It was Texas. Damn it. That's all right. Got the right country. Okay. Sad Barns. Giant concrete building, flat. Looks like some wheat grains growing. And like that dude would look at the telephone poles like, oh, this is such a telephone pole, and he'd be able to tell what country he's in. I don't know. Strippy stripe telephone pole, Poland. Poland? No, whoa, all the way out here in Japan or Taiwan. Sorry, that might be the biggest, most off I've ever been in my entire life, right there. Okay, Taiwan, strippy stripe pole. Got hills. We got what kind of goofy car do you have? Mercedes. I'm gonna guess Spain. Bam. Maybe Portugal. Portugal, damn it. All right. It's either Spain or Portugal all times. And one more. Okay. Got ourselves a Ford Thunderbird there. What do you have to say for yourself? South 80, 90, mommy. So 475, 23, 80, and 90. Okay. So maybe Wisconsin, somewhere in here. 80. There's 80. There's 90. 475 might be a little further. 75. Whoops. 75 is a little further this way. 75. Perrysburg. 475. 90. 280. Near Toledo? Or 75 heads down here. Yeah. I'm going to guess somewhere near Toledo. Hey, right there. Boom. View results. Nailed it. Pretty darn good. Alright. That one sucked. There. There's a quick way. Houston doing it quick. And we'll go back to the regular show. There we are. Alright. Meow Meow is down science team. Meow Meow is just going right through them. Thank you, Meow Meow. I can't believe that was in Taiwan. That blew my mind. So that concrete building is like, yeah, that looks Eastern European. Okay. Where was I? That was CS. Any idea? Oh, same question. Okay. How much your MOAS? If NextBridge files financials next week, will it set a value for MMTLP shares? I don't know. I think the value might get set when they sell. Because remember, they did that filing for 40 million shares. And they may or may not... Got Snuffleupagus over here in the corner. They may or may not do it anytime soon. They have to pay back McCabe before June. And they got to be able to fund drilling for the rest of the year for next March. So at some point, they're going to have to either sell those shares or sell the assets. And I don't know. I would love for them to just set it at $1 million bajillion a share. But I don't know if they'll be able to. Unless they sell some to somebody. Geminius. Korea is probably a good idea. They seem to really punish people who break the law. Love seeing them charge 250% of ill-gotten gains as punishment. No cost of doing business there. Yeah. You sell naked in Korea, well, they'll fine the shit out of you and possibly look for criminal charges against you. UBS got hit with a 2.1 trillion won fine the other day for selling naked in their markets. That's the way it should be everywhere. If you sell counterfeit crap, you should get punished and charged with a crime and pay through the nose. It should be so painful to do that you just don't. That's what I say. Right? Don't sell things you don't have. Sarkozy. Thank you, Mr. Lasuna. Yes, Sarkozy. The philanderer, supermodel marrying guy. Evan Daniels, HW, if you wanted to discuss Trump and his finances, please don't exclude Biden, Clinton, Obama, etc. Exclude them from what? We can do whataboutism, but doesn't change the fact that like Trump's lawyer already went to prison for this. He's screwed. I think if this ends up in a court, is just there's no getting out of it. Anyone breaks the law, charge them. I don't care what party they're from. They break the law, charge them. But the level of criminality that has been Trump's entire career. I mean, the dude for the last 20 years before becoming president, his entire business model was laundering money for the Russian mob. He would sell them condos, and they would give him cash. He would sell them condos and then have a physical asset in a hard currency market. And that's exactly how he moved money for these folks. He built them crappy condos all over the place. He would take them in as investors. Trump Soho, all the financial investors were Russian mob guys. Trump Toronto, which went bankrupt, they were all Russian mob guys. The Trump one Azerbaijan was the Iranian National Guard was the financiers of that one. So, you know, he's got his finger into dirty money, and that's just kind of that was his career. And if you're going to run for presidency, you probably don't want to be a guy who, you know, has been getting away with a lifetime of money laundering for criminal organizations, because it's going to come out eventually. And people go, wait a minute, you made a career of laundering money for criminal organizations. So, I mean, if JFK had been running for president 30 years earlier, right, during Prohibition, his entire campaign would have been like, wait a minute, that family's making money off bootlegging. They're criminals. It would have been a completely different thing. But because, you know, he's the next generation removed from that, you know, Trump's grandfather ran a bunch of brothels, and that's how he made his fortune. If he had run for president, we'd been like, wait a minute, why is this German guy who runs brothels running for president? You kind of just don't commit crimes and then run and expect that no one's going to dig those crimes up. Meow meow. Do you think Acme will have trouble raising capital with the share price hammered so much? Yes. Yes, I do. That's always a problem. That's debt cycle territory. So whenever your share price is really low and you got to sell to make some more money, either take on a bunch of debt and hope that you can pay it off later, or you sell at a low price and your stock price drops even more. That's the debt cycle doom that people get stuck in. Designer Darkly, Tether had a huge influx of cash after the collapse. They did. And where's that cash now? What do they do with it? Because all the other cash they've taken has just disappeared. Federal regulators in May 2021 went to the bank account in the British Virgin Islands and found 3 cents on the dollar left. Back then, Tether had only taken in like 59 billion or 69 billion. Can't remember exactly which one it was. We'll call it 60 billion, just split difference. And they found 3 cents on the dollar, and the rest of it was just nowhere to be found. There's rumors that they had invested in Chinese real estate bonds. Oops. Then that money's gone. If I were to set up a Tether and not make it a scam, I would literally put the money into like a money market account and just leave it there. Right? And it just sits there earning 2 to 4%, and that's it. And then if you need it, it comes out. Put more in. Kind of like what you have in your brokerage when they put you in like those SPACs or whatever. When you're not using your cash, it just earns a nominal percentage for just sitting there being cash. But that's all you have to do with something like a Tether coin, because if you have $80 billion, let's do the calculator here real quick. Calculator on. Chrome off. There, calculator. Okay. So, you have $80 billion cash. $80 billion cash. Okay? At 4% returns, which is what you're getting right now if you put your money into a money market account, You are making $3.2 billion in profit every year for doing nothing. Nothing at all. All the code was written off of GitHub in a weekend. You posted that shit to Uniswap or whatever, and then created a market for it by posting a whole bunch of Ethereum. And then boom, after initial investment, let's say $1 million, probably was less than that, you can now sell your coins for cash. And you take that cash and you throw it into a money market account where you will make $3.2 billion in interest for doing nothing. Everything is automated. The whole kit caboodle. Someone needs their cash back. The algorithm dips in, pulls it out, sends the cash to them. They want more coins. They take the cash, deposit it, and it sends them some coins. It could be a one-man operation. You don't have to do anything. You can just sit there and collect your $3.2 billion a year and go about life. Never to think about it again. Now, if you take that $80 billion and you keep it for yourself, and then you spread it out a bunch of other higher yielding accounts for you, you can make that same $3.2 billion and still have $80 billion in net wealth, and then you can scam all your customers. But it seems remarkable to me that what could essentially be a one-man operation, if they did it legitimately, could still make $3.2 billion a year just of cash sitting in an account somewhere collecting interest. It's remarkable to me. And still have like the gall to be like, you know what? I'm going to take all of it. Because, I mean, okay. How many years? Well, 80 billion. This is considering that you are just spending the 3.2 billion you make every year. Looking at 25 years. This is no compound interest because you're spending every penny of that 3.2 billion. In 25 years, you'll make that 80 billion in just the interest off everybody. If it's compounding and you're throwing more money in there, then shit, you're gonna make a fortune. You'll probably make an 80 billion a year just in 25 years alone off of all that. It's I don't know. The greed is weird. You're already making $3.5 billion just straight cash in an environment that doesn't tax you anything because you're an offshore. I don't know how I would spend $3.2 billion. I honestly can't think of how to spend that much money. There's only so many like shit boxes I can buy. I could easily go on vacation for the rest of my life for significantly less than that. An Earth roamer costs $700,000. Like that's done. I can only eat so much food. Beyond having like, I don't know, maybe an apartment that I can ski out of at a resort and a house. I don't know what else I would need beyond that. Just is remarkable to me how much greed. Just want more. Give me more. Just give me enough. And then I'll happily just get a suntan and go about my life. Nate Diesel, Houston, do you think the BRICS nations use of the Ripple network will make XRP moon, or will the dollar SWIFT system remain king? I mean, maybe. I don't know. The biggest problem with the BRICS network is that it's a bunch of authoritarians. You've got an authoritarian dictator in Russia. You got a totalitarian dictator in China. You got a totalitarian dictator in North Korea. You have a theocratic dictator in Iran. You have a theocratic dictator in South Africa. Right? You got a fascist authoritarian who will probably become a dictator in India. You got South Africa, which is just corrupt and messed up. And Venezuela? So you got, those are your big anchors for BRICS, and none of them are trending towards democracy. Yes, they have a lot of people and they have a lot of resources. But if your biggest member, China, has a currency that is fixed directly to the U.S. dollar, and that's how it's artificially attached to the dollar. They announce what the value is. Then really you're just another system dependent upon the U.S. dollar. that's that's what it comes down to. So I don't know if it'll make XRP Moon. I mean, people in those countries may use it as a digital system for transferring wealth around, but in the long run, having a separate system from SWIFT, and that system being, like the most repressive nations on Earth, doesn't seem like a great way to build wealth in the long run. It seems like, 40 years ago we had Soviet Union and the United States of America. Brah! But if you looked at the quality of life across both of them, only one of them was actually winning. And I think that's kind of the same way with the BRICS system, is that largely the people themselves are not winning in that system. Michael O'Hara, Wells Fargo does have an investment arm. Wells Fargo Clearing Service, Wells Fargo Advisors. I thought they sold that, Michael. Didn't they sell that? Yeah, Wells Fargo selling investment business. Yeah, they sold in February 2021. They sold to a private equity firm. So their investment arm is no longer owned by them. They may have a working agreement with them, but it's owned by somebody else now, which is weird. Rebrand for Wells Fargo Asset Management as acquisition happens. That was 2021. So I think they sold off their investment arm. And then their investment arm wasn't an investment bank. It was just an investment arm. Whereas like Chase is the commercial bank. JP Morgan is the investment bank. Boom. Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, so on. Fee runs AMC. So wait, there's a BlackRock and a Blackstone? Yes. Two different institutions. Blackstone is smaller than BlackRock. But Blackstone was some of the money behind Trump Soho. They helped launder some Russian cash through there. Visio guy just drive up to swim. No clouds, they're illegal. Yeah. The Kid Crid, Houston DC Evergrande Real Estate failed to pay interest on 4 billion yuan, 586.6 million bonds due by March 23rd. How has China market not collapsed yet? Because no one's willing to write it off. That's why. I think that's what it comes down to, is the emperor has no clothes and everyone's too scared to say it. And because the minute they say that, then BlackRock has to write it off, RBC has to write it off. I forget who else was on that list, but there's tons of other hedge funds, institutions, and banks that are using those bonds heavily as collateral. Jed McGruff, I have noticed the ringing of E in my ears hasn't gone away in 9 years. Should I be worried about year 10? How do people listen for Buffalo on the plains back in the day with this? What? Do you have tinnitus? Is that what you're saying? I would go see a ear, nose, and throat guy about your tinnitus if that's the case. But what? Okay. Oh, there's a reset of the chat. Always resetting. Okay, there's the bricks question. There is investment arm question. There is Squim. Okay, here we go. Chub McGruff. Talking about Chub McGruff stuff. Don't see Shadem. It's answering the quiz question. Okay. Lulz, I'm reporting to the SEC and they will do something because you'll be cutting in on their buddy's business. I'm going to sell that gold crypto coin. Just make a little algorithm that says whatever it's trading for here, that's what you're selling for here. And just that's going to be the entire market. Fixed to gold. What should I call it? Houston gold sounds pretty good, but it needs to be more Klondike, the Klondike coin, 49er coin. What would I have to call it? Kitty cat? What do I call it? Shit, I'll come up with something. Guitar stuff. What's the wettest desert in the world? That's actually a good question. Like how much rain until you're no longer a desert? Because you go from desert to like steppe pretty easily. As long as you get these grasslands that can have like, moderate amounts of rain. Sahel is another form of steppe. My guess is you probably get to like the 15 to 20 inches of rain a year. You're probably no longer a desert. You're probably more into like steppe, maybe Mediterranean climate. Somewhere in there, 15 to 20 inches. That sounds about right. Because like Squim, which is the north part of the Olympic Peninsula, they get like 15 or 16 inches of rain a year. They do have quite a few rivers that come out of the mountains that can irrigate everything, but they do have more of a dry grassland in that little microclimate. So I consider them probably more of a steppe than desert. Same thing with like the Sunshine Coast on Vancouver Island, same type of thing. They have a lot of water that comes off the mountains and that irrigates everything, but they get 300 days of sunshine a year and not very much rain. Lels, what do you think will happen next week when the Archegos swaps expire? Will they try to unwind leading up to the end of March, or will they all hell break loose in April? I would err on the side of they don't do anything until they're made to. That's usually how they work. They're not proactive. They're like, oh boy, this doesn't look good. Maybe we should start trying now to prevent all this terrible stuff from happening. They always seem to just do what RBC is doing right now, pretending like nothing's wrong and see if they can fake it until they make it. And at some point, everything's going to go wrong and then just blink out of existence. That seems to be the human way. You just pretend like everything's fine until it isn't, and then you deal with the aftermath. The dam is going to fail. Well, it's working right now. I guess I'm going to still live beneath this giant dam. The dam failed. Well, got to clean up all these bodies. That's kind of the human way. Snurtler, no GeoGuessr. Sorry, Snurtler, a GeoGuessed. Oh, Julianne, you did guess Texas right. Good job. It's a long time no see. Still using those glass straws. I still have the glass straw. I didn't fill this one today. I just filled the big one. When it's summertime, I need the two for sure because it's just so warm in here. But it's not super warm yet, so I don't need the two glasses at the moment. Dennis, MMTLP turned into a flop? ? Since it was illegal to trade, those that traded it will be fined and those that bought will have to take a loss? No. Those that traded it should have been fined, but it's too late. Too late to put that cat back in the bag. They made a bunch of liability. Now they're going to have to pay the liability when it happens. Big Daddy Maddie, happy birthday. And I challenge you to say something positive about Trump. Serious. He did moderate federal prison reform. That was probably a good thing. There. Something positive. Josh Jobs, what's on the table as far as GME delisting the stock altogether, or whatever it's called, to stop trading in U.S. stock markets, going dark, so to speak? This goes back to 2 years ago when we talked about the possibility of them creating a crypto-based stock, a blockchain stock that would be on their own network. And I think what it is you just send a letter to the DTCC saying, you're not fulfilling our needs. We want our shares back. And that's what happens. And they go, oh, shit. And they do a recall. And then all the shares get transferred over through the transfer agent or something to the new exchange. Which means every short position will have to close in existence, because if you have people left over, that's a liability that can't exist. And Dragon, thank you. What's HNL? I don't know what currency is HNL. I don't know where that's from. HNL. Honduran. Lempira. Oh, Honduras. My first HNL right there. Thank you, Dragon. I was figuring like Dragon, like I know like Croatian and Bosnian dudes named Dragon. AMC Machine, hey, do you see AMC shorts backing off due to all the bank failures? If shorts are backing off, it's because they can't afford to continue to short. And that could be from a host of reasons. Like their margin dropped too much. There's a liquidity crisis. They can't obtain margin from a bank. They're not going to be using any money to buy up stock. They might just be like sitting there waiting for something to happen. And it's something's pounding rain out there right now. All right. But the banks are definitely going to take a big play in it, because if there's a liquidity crisis and you can't get any more cash to make plays, then you can't use your margin. We've seen like folks, like a dude post the other day. He's like, Citibank all of a sudden took my $10,200 credit limit and made it $300, and my credit score hasn't changed at all. They just took away all my credit because they don't have any cash. They have no money. So the first thing they're going to do is they're going to pinch here and there where cash can be spent. Evan Daniels, $50,000 a month for rent, 10% of the big guy, Ukraine extortion, money laundering, millions of hunter art. I'm not saying they're not all dirty, but come on, man. Oh, you're talking about, like, well, first of all, what Hunter Biden does is what Hunter Biden does. He's not president, and he's not running for president. But the $50,000 rent thing was Hunter Biden, I think, lying on a rental application. He was claiming that he was renting his dad's house from him when he was not renting his dad's house from him, and then stated that he was paying $50,000 a month for that house to be able to get approved to rent somewhere else. So that is just fraud on a rental form by a jackass. Not that he was actually paying his dad $50,000 a month. He didn't pay his dad spit because he wasn't renting the house. He just lied and said he was. The Ukraine extortion thing is bullshit, and that's why Trump got impeached. So the claim from the Trump side is that Joe Biden told Ukraine to fire the prosecutor general in Ukraine because they were investigating Burisma, which was where Hunter Biden had a board seat. The thing is that he was fired for not investigating Burisma. He was not investigating the corruption he was tasked with, and that's why they wanted him fired. Also, Hunter Biden joined Burisma after the prosecutor said, I'm not investigating Burisma. So he joined 4 years after that. So the problem is that the actual extortion was Donald Trump taking congressionally approved money for weapons for Ukraine and saying, I'm not going to give it to you, Ukraine, unless Zelensky lies and says Biden extorted Ukraine, which was the exact opposite. It was Trump was extorting Ukraine on that one. And that's why he was impeached. And he wasn't convicted because the Senate is a bunch of, lowlifes who can't be told to do the right thing. But that's the way it is. A lot of people who don't really understand the whole Ukraine impeachment thing just don't look at a calendar, man. You gotta look at a calendar. Investigation stops in 2012. Hunter joins in 2016. That's later is when the corrupt prosecutor was told to get lost, and that's how it works. Where am I? Oh shit, it's 4:30. I gotta go in here. Okay. Well, one of the people, before I go, one of the people who DM me was showing me that on their Robinhood account, their MMTLPZZZZZ has a chart that changes consistently. And when he goes to click on the chart, it disappears. But in his tracking, it shows like a chart that's moving and changing throughout the day. And it's not linked to Acme Parent Company. It's a completely different chart of its own. So somewhere there's something trading. It's just that they won't tell him what is trading in there. It's very weird. I don't know if any of you other ones have that stuck in their Robinhood accounts, but if you see it, let me know. Okay. AMC Machine also, what's with Robinhood, as well as other apps showing AMC with a market cap of $421 billion. That stuff is weird. And whenever you get those glitches never point towards the shorts not being screwed. They always point towards the shorts being absolutely screwed again and again. Yeah. So that seems to be kind of how it works. Honolulu. 45 Honolulus. Okay. Anyway, I got to get going, folks. Look for some GeoGuessr this weekend if you care about GeoGuessr, which won't be Snartlert. He does not care about GeoGuessr. But I'll see the rest of you Monday. All right? Okay. Have a great night. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. It's Attack of the Nipples. The nipples are here. Oh, look at those nipples. Look how many of them there are. There are so many